Kid Cudi's lauded September 15, 2009 debut album Man in the Moon, The End of Day set the stage for an entire generation to find comfort in his music.
Kid Cudi's like really like one of the main dudes I kind of like looked at and listened to all the time. He saved my life.
But the story really begins with his breakthrough hit Day and Night.
Cause day and night, the lonely loner seems to free his mind at night. He's all alone through the day and night. The lonely loner seems to free his mind at night. At night.
In that time frame is me speaking about, you know, what I was going through, you know, at that point in time. Like, it was a very, very, very dark, like, gloomy shadow over my life at that point in time, you know.
The song led to a debut mixtape called A Kid Named Cudi in 2008 that piqued the interest of his idol and scored a Billboard Hot 100 Top 5 hit. Day and Night was also sequenced at the center of The End of Day, making it a crucial part of Carter's wider story.
The whole album is like a dream. It's one long dream sequence.
Chicago legend and Cudi's then Good Music label made comments at the scene.
This is the story of a young man who not only believed in himself, but his dreams too. This is the story of the man on the moon.
The public had a glimpse of this brooding sound through Cudi's formative and inspirational work on West's 2008 album 808s and Heartbreak, where Cudi's work on 4 songs, chief amongst them Welcome to Heartbreak, previewed the moody sound of End of Day.
Big homie Kanye just, you know, got me signed to Good Music now.
Okay, Good Music.
I got the feature on the album. I co-wrote several songs on 808 and Heartbreak.
This style of forlorn introspection struck a chord, becoming one of Yeezy's most influential projects. Ye once said of his pairing with Cudi, quote, "Me and Cudi are the originators of the style, kinda like what Alexander McQueen is to fashion. Everything else is just Zara and H&M. But Carter did not want his relationship with Yeezy to define him.
I could have had Kanye more involved on my album. I could have had him on more songs, but it wasn't about that. It was about me telling my story and me getting my sound out there.
On Man in the Moon, Cudi doubled down on his own wave, enlisting beats from a small group of producers such as Emil Haney, Jeff Basker, Plain Pat, Ratatat, and a few others.
It's important as a new artist to establish your own sound, because you don't ever get that chance again.
Cudi gleaned the scale and scope for what he was going for from 60s and 70s English progressive rock bands.
Pink Floyd and Electric Light Orchestra really ultimately
ELO, wow, that's
determined
wild.
the soundscapes for my entire career.
For his debut studio album, Cudi's The End of Day tells a dream over 5 acts that introduces persona to the world.
Lonely Stoner is me. I am you, and you are me.
On the album, he sought to bring out parts of himself, teeing it off with the Emil Haney-produced soundtrack to My Life.
I try to think about myself as a sacrifice just to show the kids they ain't the only ones who up at night. The moon will illuminate my room and soon I'm consumed by my doom.
Kid Cudi saw the duality of his music, both as self-treatment and an escape for others.
I'm trying to like better myself through my music. You know what I'm saying? My music is really like therapeutic for me. Hopefully it helped everybody else that's been fucking with it.
But he also acknowledged his contradictions, like on Solo Dolo.
When will I ever learn from the words in my songs? I'm Mr. Solo Dolo.
On Heart of a Lion, there's hope and triumph, drawing on inspiration from his mother Elsie, who once texted him, quote, "Those who bring sunshine into the lives of others cannot keep it from themselves."
At the end of the day, my mama told me don't let no one break me, let no one break me. At the end of the day, I'm walking with a heart of a lion. Yeah.
I wanted to create the new Eye of the Tiger for the millennium, and calling it Heart of a Lion is just exactly, it's the epitome of what Kid Cudi's whole movement is, and what got me to where I'm at is that I kept the faith and I had a strong heart, you know what I mean, and I made it through.
The End of Day further dove into the effect of losing his father very young, like on My World, which contained one of Cudi's first trademark hums.
1 year younger than get where I was going, took a turn to the worst when my father left me lonely.
My father died when I was 11. It took it really hard. I think that's where my life kind of immediately took a right turn, and I put myself in more of a shell.
He also talks about the substances he used to sometimes crack that shell.
Taking a trip is me getting ready to indulge in drugs and take that and zone out to get away from reality.
Like on Intergalactic Love Connection Part 1.
Get ready, pop it, let's go. Intergalactic, you and me. can tickle like the you and me.
However, in 2016, some of those same escapes forced him into rehab. Unstuck with Cudi Zone, he gives a glimpse of what security could feel like.
It's kind of like talking about that moment where you're at peace, when you're stoned and you're in your place and everything is just perfect and it's beyond words. It just feel like, ooh.
When I'm so, I'm feeling alright, I'm feeling alright, I'm feeling alright. So, I'm feeling alright, I'm feeling alright. I forget about it all.
But it's In Pursuit of Happiness where the album crests, something producer Evax believes helps cement the legend of the Wizard.
Cudi's become this like real mythical character for like, I think people of a certain age, because he was just like speaking frankly on his tracks in a way that nobody was used to hearing rappers speak.
I'm on the pursuit of happiness, and I know everything that shine ain't always gonna be gold. Hey, I'll be fine once I get it. I'll be good.
But both albums and dreams must end, and Cudi does this by waking up for a stretch on Up, Up, and Away.
Like I go to sleep broke,
You wake
and
up
then I
rich.
wake up
Successful.
Kid Cudi, you know what I mean? It's really intense.
I'll be up and away, 'cause in the end they'll judge me anyway. So whatever.
However, Common Sense got away with the word of caution.
A new hell he must conquer and destroy. A new level of growth he must confront himself. The machine and the ghost within. This is the journey of the man on the moon.
Man in the Moon, The End of Day was a commercial success. It had 3 Billboard Hot 100 hits in Day and Night, Make Her Say, and Pursuit of Happiness, and has sold north of 2 million records to date. It also helped establish Cudi as a beacon of hope and growth.
Music, it was a platform for me to express myself and also realize that I'm not that crazy, that there's other kids out there that might be depressed or lonely, dealing with suicide, things like this.
And Day and Night producer Dr. Genius told us that this was Cudi's goal from the very beginning.
That's Cudi's mission. That's always been Cudi's mission. It's like, yo, I want to talk to these kids. I want to make sure, let them know that they're not alone.
And in the decades since its release, The End of Day's impact stretches across rap. From Travis Scott using T.I. like Common as a narrator for Rodeo,
At that moment, the one known as Jacques turned to sky, chose to jump off his mama porch, leading the stampede of lost souls.
to Logic finding confidence through Cudi's ethos.
Cudi was one of the person who showed me like, you don't have to be scared to sing. Like, who gives a fuck?
It's fair to say that Kid Cudi helped shape an entire generation by sharing his personal struggles so that we would know how to walk our own paths. I'm Jacques Morel with Genius News, bringing you the meaning and the knowledge behind the music. Peace.
If I